The UFC is looking to close out the year of their 25th anniversary with a pretty solid pay-per-view offering. This fight card has a lot of fights scheduled to go down that are worth paying your attention. But my name's Flyin Brian J, and these are my top 3 fights going down at UFC 232. This week I'm starting at number 1 because the best fight of this card, it's pretty clear. Johnny Bones Jones and Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson put on the consensus fight of the year back in 2013, and we've been calling for this rematch from Jump Street. In my mind, we could make this fight card much worse while leaving this one as the main event, and I'd still purchase the pay-per-view. Jones isn't the model citizen, and he has dealt with his fair share of hiccups surrounding mixed martial arts competition, but he is quite obviously one of the best fighters to ever step foot in the Octagon. For gosh darn sakes, he has 24 attempts and never lost a professional bout. The only L on his record is because he broke the rules while destroying Matt Hamill. He has the frame and athleticism to be a professional athlete in any other team sport, but chose to bring his range and creativity to this violent bit of competition. For a while, he was criticized for not having knockout power, but he silenced that with his head kick and then followed by ground and pound victory over Daniel Cormier in his last Octagon appearance. Johnny Bones is simply a joy to watch, and given his penchant for messing up, we might not have many more opportunities to witness his greatness. When he fought Gustafsson the first time, we were shocked that he got taken down because of how dominant he had been in that department prior. That, along with Jones' dynamism and the durability and heart of both men, made the first contest so memorable. Gustafsson has surprisingly competed less than Jones since that first fight, but has since racked up 3 Fight of the Night bonuses and 1 Performance of the Night bonus. His length and mobility caused most of his opponents in the division to have some difficulty, and I think he is the clear-cut number 3 light heavyweight in the world, depending on if Cormier is coming back or just staying at heavyweight. His skill set and size allowed him to have incredibly close fights with both Cormier and Jones. But really, is there more to say than this fight features the fighter who many consider to be the greatest of all time against his stiffest test? I have very little doubt that this fight will live up to the hype. Number 2. The co-main event of the evening, Cris Cyborg Justino puts her women's featherweight title on the line against bantamweight champion Amanda the Lioness Nunes. I'm not fond of throwing the term superfight around willy-nilly, but I am super interested in this contest. I haven't liked that Cyborg's UFC stint has basically been beating up bantamweights who move up to fighter, but Nunes is someone who struggles to make the weight in the division that she lords over at 135 pounds, so she might be more suited for 145 like this bout is scheduled for. So that makes the champion versus champion nature of the fight to be a little bit more intriguing, especially when you consider that there's virtually no one for Cyborg to fight in her own division outside of Megan Anderson, who recently lost to Holly Holm, and we've also got very few contenders for Nunes to defend against at 135 pounds. Their styles are both fan-friendly in that they go out there swanging and banging, but with a high level of technique, and they almost never have dull moments. Cyborg has finished 17 of 20 victories via KO or TKO, and Nunes has 11 knockouts and 3 submissions in 16 victories. I always say that I'm more excited for fights that have a near guarantee that we see a finish, and this fight might just be my most looked forward to women's fight of all time. And number 3, the pay-per-view curtain jerker between Chad Money Mendes and Alexander Volkanovski. The first reason this fight is important is because the winner could be setting themselves up for a title shot against Max Blessed Holloway, who just handily defended his featherweight title against Brian T-City Ortega. Mendes has fought for the belt on 2 separate occasions, and while he was unsuccessful both times, he is absolutely one of the top fighters at 145 pounds to this day. He had a long layoff due to a PED issue, but made a triumphant return in July when he dispatched of Miles Fury Jury in the first round while earning himself a post-fight bonus. He is a prototypical Team Alpha Male fighter in that he has good wrestling takedown game with powerful punching that gets him in tight. He will have to put his All-American wrestling skills to work here against Volkanovski, who is a fellow high-level MMA wrestler. Even at 30 years old, Volkanovski is looked at as a surging young prospect at 145 pounds. He hasn't lost in over 4 years, and the majority of his wins are via knockout or technical knockout. Sure, most of his UFC fights have gone to the judges, but the latest was a dominant decision victory over terminally tough Darren Elkins. This fight is on the list because beyond the 2 title fights at the top of the card, this one has the most at stake, and I want to see if Chad Mendes can once again insert himself into a title shot. As always, I'm really appreciative for you making it to this point in the video. My question this time is, do you think that the rematch between Johnny Bones Jones and Alexander the Mauler Gustafsson will be as competitive as the first fight back in 2013, regardless of who you think is going to get that victory? Please give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you on my next one. Namaste.